back to my channel. As per a request I received from one of you, I am here to do something that I didn't know you guys wanted. If you told me, I would have done before. It's my favorite songs of Mariah Carey's. You know I love her ranking. I have a lot of fun doing these. If you want me to do these for other artists, do let me know. I arranged this in the same way I arrange my year-end list. So we have 15 spots plus 15 honorable mentions. They are ranked accordingly, and we also have 2 honorary entries right before I unveil my number 1, but I'll explain about that later. However, unlike my year-end list, I am not limiting this to 1 song per album or anything like that. No, these are my favorite songs of Mariah Carey. There are albums here that have more than 1 song. There are albums that only have 1 song, and there are albums that are not mentioned at all. These are my favorite songs of Mariah Carey. You already know my favorite albums of hers. So here I am, okay? Numbers 15 through 1, I have little texts that I wrote, and I'm gonna read them here to kind of like, like I was a newsreader, like there was a teleprompter, and I was, I've been watching season 3 of Newsreader. It's really, really good. If you haven't watched it, I urge you to do so. So I'm in that vibe. But my numbers 30 through 16, I'm only going to read the title. And these are my honorable mentions, the songs that were very good, almost there, but not quite among my 15 favorite songs of hers. So, number 30, About My Fate, which is my favorite song in Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel. 29, Honey. 28, Heartbreaker. 27, To Be Around You. 26, The Roof, Back in Time. 25, Cry Baby. 24, Fly Away, Butterfly Reprise. 23, Vanishing, my favorite song from Mariah Carey, her debut studio album. 22, Always Be My Baby. 21, Daydream Interlude. 20, It's Like That. 19, All I've Ever Wanted. 18, We Belong Together. 17, Bliss, my favorite song from Rainbow. And 16, All I Live For. Those were my honorable mentions, song 30 through 16. Now on to my list. Starting up, opening up our list, the closing track of Butterfly, Outside. By many consider her magnum opus of an album. I personally cannot vouch for that, and you'll soon see why. I can, however, absolutely say that its final song is nothing short of a banger, with lyrics that cut deep, a charming melody, and an explosive final chorus. And you guys know I love explosive final choruses, especially when it comes to Mariah. There are few songs like it in her catalog, and even fewer in Butterfly, a much more chill album in comparison to its predecessors and even to a couple of its successors. Outside narrates the story of being torn between 2 worlds, to either of which you only partly belong, and feeling this very partition be something that defines you and even more tragically encompasses you entirely. You not only are, but as she points out in the end, will always be somewhere in the outside, not quite fitting in either point. Although one can easily take her life as the sole basis for understanding the song and seeing in this a clear correlation to her life as a biracial woman, one can just as easily take it broadly and see it as an anthem for every outsider. After all, much of the entrancing power of narratives lie in the fact that they are ambiguous, and it's this very ambiguity that allows us different interpretations, and therefore different ways to feel like something told, or in this case sung, also belongs to us. As for my number 14, we have Circles. Halfway through an album, you expect things to slow down, right? That's how most albums go. That's the natural cycle of an album. You start strong, you slow down towards the middle, then rise to the final tracks for either a banger of a closer track, more on that later, or a chill, contemplative ending like the one we have in E = MC Square, for instance. Well, Mariah is no natural singer, as we know. The woman is an alien, so of course her album is not going to follow the natural order of things, and is absolutely gonna hit us with this song right in the middle of it. The craziest whistle notes of her career, a growl in the final chorus, and you know I love a growl, storytelling lyrics like we don't often get in many of her songs, and I pointed that out in my reaction to Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel, and a nasty fuck all choir that comes in at only the right times. This and much more makes Circle my 14th favorite song of hers. Number 13, Mine Again. This is the moment when I realized, shit, this album is gonna be good. I had heard 3 singles from The Emancipation of Mimi, which are the 3 first songs in the album. So this was make or break for me. She needed to hit me with something that was grander than the singles, and boy, she did. Let me tell you, for an album that had It's Like That and We Belong Together as singles, that is no easy feature, yet she accomplished it. I knew from the moment that piano started that there was no way this was going wrong. One of the best, clearest, strongest vocal performances of her career, and that's saying something, on top of a gorgeous instrument-based R&B production like the old days and a melody that cuts like a fucking dagger. This is not just a song, this is a journey. Perfectly fit for an album called The Emancipation of Mimi. Number 12, Loverboy Firecracker, my favorite song from the Rarities. Ever since I first expressed my unwavering love for Loverboy, I have received comments asking me to address that. Well, consider this my answer. Loverboy is absolutely unhinged. Bear with me on this one, okay? I have read comments, not on my channel, saying that the cameo version is the best version and that the Firecracker version, the original version mind you, is just a demo that was clearly unfinished. And I'm like, why? Just because her vocals are raw? Have we stopped to realize it makes sense narratively that she would have those raw vocals? She sounds horny, drunk, high, and all other things one might feel when one is in love, or in lust, which is more likely considering this song. This was her walking out of a complicated marriage, singing about wanting a lover boy to give her more, touch her, take her, make her shudder in anticipation. Why do you guys want this song to sound refined and chill and breathy and whispery when it should be as raw and carefree as she wanted the very relationship she's singing about to be? And don't even get me started on the fact she was singing about having a sugar daddy in 2001. If you ever needed proof that Mariah was way ahead of her time, this is it. Loverboy is as fresh today as it was 24 years ago when it was released. Well, actually when it was sung and recorded, but sadly not released. And I honestly cannot say the same things about the both versions of the song that were released. I said my piece about this, case closed as far as I can tell. Number 11, Emotions. I don't really think I have much to say for this one, y'all. I'm sorry. It kind of speaks or sings for itself. Is there anyone who doesn't like Emotions? Like, you don't even have to be a part of the Lamberley to like Emotions. Like, some would say it's Mariah Carey's signature song, and can you deny it? I mean, I know the album has its, in my opinion, completely unjustified haters, but the song? Honestly, if you don't like it, I feel sorry for you. The lovely upbeat, poppy production, the piano, the vocals, the melody, the choruses, the lyrics. Guys, the lyrics are so cute. I love when Mariah Carey's in love, because that's almost as good when she's horny. And this is me saying it, okay? I am the guy who has a playlist in Spotify called Freaky Raya, if you don't know by now. And am I forgetting something? Oh yeah, I mean, there are some whistle notes in the end, but like, nothing special, I guess. They're a life-changing experience. Number 10, Fantasy. Let's open our top 10 with an opener, shall we? Fantasy, the gorgeous first track from Daydream, opens the album so masterfully that it's almost hard to compete with then. Keyword, almost. More on that later on. The album. And we're talking about my absolute favorite album of hers. Fantasy is definitely the best use of a sample in Mariah Carey's career, even better than Loverboy and Heartbreaker in my opinion, and she knows how to dose it perfectly so that it's not overpowering. Then again, what else could we expect from the queen of remixes herself? The lyrics are lovely, the production is insane, and her vocals, though far less showy than her previous lead singles, at least in my opinion, and more akin to what we would get used to in the years to come, set the tone for how the album was gonna be like vocally so well that it's hard to find another album of hers before or after that does it quite like this one does. Oh, and the intro is a moment of its own. It's almost as good as another intro that is soon to be featured here. Number 9, Lead the Way, my favorite song from Glitter. The best, primarily piano ballad of her career, and nobody can change my mind. Without you, Hero, Never Too Far, I'm So Sorry For You, you were grand, you were great, but you were not Lead the Way. This song from Glitter contains all you can expect from a Mariah Carey ballad. In fact, I think I could write an essay defending why this is the Mariah ballad of all time, even though it's not even quite my favorite Mariah Carey ballad. But it's just so hard to argue against it. The melodies are great, I love the instrumentation of the song, and it's just such a key moment in her career, in one of her most unjustly hated albums, that it's hard to not feel the emotion. I know she was a character throughout the soundtrack of the album, and I made this mistake when I judged the lyrics based in my reaction to Glitter, but some things go beyond that, and I think Lead the Way is one of these things. And I didn't even begin to talk about her stellar vocal performance and that final breathtaking run. Literally, I tried this in the shower. There is no breath to do that. Like, it's really good, you guys. Number 8, Migrate, my favorite song from E=mc². Whoever was in charge of her career during the E=mc² days should be fired for not making this song a single. And I don't just mean that based on the fact that the song actually charted in the Hot 100, even though it was only an album track, but simply because this is good. With capital G. Like, really, really good. I could make a case for this being my favorite first song of a Mariah Carey album ever. I did put this against Fantasy and Emotions, didn't I? Overall, I wouldn't come close to saying E=mc² is an album of the same caliber as Daydream or Emotions, so maybe this could hint at that position, but other than that, I don't really see a strong argument against it. I mean, the intro? Are you kidding me? If that is not one hell of a way to get you hooked in an album, to set the sound for the album, to tell you what the album is going to be about, I don't know what is. The electro R&B production is so good, so unique, the melodies in the verses that were ever so slightly rapped, and even the auto-tune, which so many critics complained. There are such strong points of this song that I almost don't believe this was ever even released. It's almost hard to believe that it was ever even recorded, let alone having it be released. But then it was released, and it wasn't a single, and it was the opening track, and it's really, really good. I guess the closest thing to it, you know, structure-wise, was Obsessed, I guess, but it's nowhere near as innovative as Migrate is. I mean, descending, auto-tuned whistle notes in the beginning, who else? Where else? No one. Nowhere. Only Mariah could even come up with this idea, and it only happens in Migrate. By far the best song of E=mc², and it's not even close. And my 8th favorite song of hers. Number 7, Yours. Charm Bracelet is an interesting album, okay? It's not my favorite. It even has some of the most obnoxious songs of her career. It's looking straight at you, boy. Straight at you. But there are moments when she hits places in the album. Places she hasn't really hit since. And I think Yours is one of those places. Yours is probably the best use of whispered vocals in her career, and it's contrasted so well with some moments of higher registers, especially in the second verse, and it also has my favorite bridge of her career, which is a big statement to make for only the 7th song, but yeah, it's the best bridge of her career in my opinion, as well as one of the best and most coherent uses of her whistle register, which is something she has used a lot throughout her career, yet it manages to stand out in this song in my opinion. This is a statement to basically every ability of hers as an artist, and she does that throughout 5 minutes that feel like 2, and at most a half. On top of the most charming production of the album, and this is an album that in my opinion tends to overdo this charm. Not in this song though, this one is perfect. And you know me, I am not easily pleased. Not even Mariah can do that. Before I move on to the next one, I must highlight the lyrics as well. Yet another proof that when Mariah Carey is in love, she is her best self. Number 6, If It's Over. Remember when I said in Lead the Way that although you could make a case for that being the ballad of her career, it was not my favorite ballad? It's this one, y'all. The Mariah Carey power ballad. I love Emotions, and it's no surprise to anyone that follows me and my Mariah Carey reactions, and the thing I love the most about it, it's the classical sound she used, especially in the ballads. And you don't remember hints at it, but it's If It's Over that leans all in the sound and takes everything away from it. It's like a good 60s Aretha Franklin ballad. There's a lot of soul in the production and even more so in the vocals, which is just the way I like it. I am not usually a drums guy. If you may have noticed, I tend to compliment and talk a lot about strings and piano, but the star of this song is definitely the drums. They do it like no other instrument here does, and I love them so much for it. I love the melodies and the lows even more so than the highs, which is not something very common for a Mariah Carey song, and especially the way she kind of drags her voice into the chorus. Brilliant. I should also mention that killer choir that accompanies her in the choruses. Oh, and the bridge, ladies and gentlemen, the bridge. What a bridge. That single whistle note into the final chorus, which blends like a scream. The first time I heard it, I thought she was just screaming, and then I realized, no, that's a whistle note. But then I realized, no, but that's a scream. Oh, that's a whistle note that's supposed to read and sound like a scream. I mean, doing that as she pleads one last time for the truth from her partner, it's just outstanding. And I'm probably not gonna use that word again, because this truly, literally is outstanding. This song stands out in an album that is top 3 in her career, in my opinion. And it's not even my favorite song in the album. Number 5, The One, my favorite song from Charm Bracelet. This is the other place I was talking about 2 songs ago. This and Yours, although being right next to each other in the track list, are very different regarding its execution. The One has beautiful harmonies in the chorus that contrast with her singing so as to highlight the confusion the lyrical self is experiencing in the song. And not just that, its production is also quite different. We have an electric guitar going on in the back, which is amazing, and she gives her whistle notes for the very end, something I complained about when I first heard. But I shouldn't have, because she does something absolutely impressive with it, like mind-blowing really. She mimics the production of the song. The production we had in the intro is reproduced at the end, only she does it with her voice. This is not the only instance this happens in the album, and Bringing On the Heartbreaker is probably the flashier, more obvious example of it, but I honestly prefer the way she does it here in The One. And though I initially complained that she did that, she kept that to a fade out, again, now that I'm thinking about it, it makes sense that she would oppose it directly to the entry, which is kind of like a fade in. If you think of the structure of the song, the instruments are being presented in the beginning, so at the end the instruments are being unrepresented. You know, they're coming in, and then in the beginning they're coming in, and then in the end they're going out. So it makes sense structurally. I stopped and thought about that after I heard the album a couple more times, and especially this song. As I said, for Yours though, Charm Bracelet is not my favorite album of hers, and it definitely contains some songs that don't hit the places this and The One did, but when it goes to those places, it's absolutely fantastic. Number 4, Underneath the Stars, my favorite song from Daydream, which is my favorite album of her career, mind you. When Mariah Carey is in her lovey-dovey side, it's hard to beat. I know I said throughout this video that she's her best when she's in love, and that's true, but that doesn't apply to songs like Underneath the Stars, because she's not just in love here, it goes beyond. She's in a state of bliss, of time suspension, of feeling suspension even. The atmosphere evoked through the lyrics and production of Underneath the Stars allow no other interpretation, no other feeling to be sensed other than that. She's drunk in love, she's sunk in love, she's buried in love, and a sense of belonging to someone else that I wish I could experience even once in my lifetime. Underneath the Stars holds a kind of sweetness, softness, childness almost, in how she approaches the subject matter and talks about the situation across all its aspects. The production is soft and chill. Her vocals are an interesting mix between the characteristic voice we heard in the earlier days of her career and the whispered vocals for Butterfly onwards. The melodies are simple yet entrancing. There are no crazy vocal runs, at least not like in Fantasy or Forever, and yet it's incredibly challenging to sing because the emotion in her voice cannot be easily duplicated. She was in a state of mind when she entered the studio that day, and I don't know if she left knowing she had created one of the greatest love songs of all time, but yeah, she did. Number 3, Make It Happen, my favorite song from Emotions. There is only one state of mind of Mariah's that I like more than her being in love, and that's when she's being religious. This woman knows how to make a good gospel song, okay? Make It Happen is unbelievable. I can't believe how much I thoroughly enjoy this song. Like, the lyrics are incredibly sad, and she definitely manages to keep it real. It's not glossed over or reduced by the upbeat production. If anything, in my opinion, it's highlighted by it, because it helped you get into it and understand the motivations behind Mariah for writing this song. And what's more, this song is not a lament. It's not a sad song. It has a sad story behind it, yes, but the song itself is actually a happy song if you stop to think about it. The final message is not, I've been through a lot of shit. No, the final message is, I persisted. I am still here because God helped me and I believed in myself. So you should too. This is the ultimate self-help Mariah Carey song. It's far more efficient at that than Hero, in my opinion. This is a woman who went through a lot of shit singing about how she managed to endure the situations and prevail in the end. She doesn't give us an example. She is the example of what can happen if you believe in yourself. It's the most inspiring song of her career, and she delivers this message with crazy good vocal performance and a command over the pacing of the song that is exemplary. It is a song over 5 minutes long that does not feel like it at all. It's not just a song, it's an experience. It's not just the best song of the album. This is a tutorial, and all these pop stars out here should grab their notebooks and take notes, because honestly, I don't see anyone right now who could do what Mariah did in this song. Number 2, Dream Lover, my favorite song from Music Box. Remember 2 songs ago when I said lovey-dovey Mariah Carey is the Mariah Carey I like the most when she's singing about love? Well, Dream Lover is the epitome of that notion. As a song, Underneath the Stars is just Dream Lovers on steroids. More refined, more polished, is an overall richer sounding experience. Its melodies are more complex, the vocals are more versatile. So you might be wondering, why did you put Dream Lover ahead of it if you just said it's a worse song? Well, it takes the edge off Underneath the Stars for one reason. One very simple reason. A very subjective reason. Then again, this is my list of favorite songs of Mariah Carey's. Relatability. I know how she felt while writing that song. I relate to this entirely. I need an empathy effort to get into Underneath the Stars because feeling the way she does there is just wishful thinking to me. But when it comes to Dream Lover, that's just my reality. I spend my days inside the fictions I create in my mind that later serve as fuel for my writing. Also, if you were wondering, the intro of this song is the one I considered my favorite Mariah Carey intro of all time. It sets the tone for the song, sets the tone for the album, matches with the title, and contains the airiest, most gorgeous and lovely whistle note of her career. This is when I realized, because mind you, I had never heard this song before I reacted to Music Box, that she is one of the most versatile artists of all time. Because the switch up from Emotions to this, then from this to Daydream is actually insane. And the production in this song especially is contained, quiet, and introspective, which is exactly the kind of thing you would expect from a song with this lyrical content. I don't see any flaws with it, if I'm being honest, and for some times I considered it my favorite song of her career, until I heard another one. But before I unveil my number one Mariah Carey song of all time, you must have noticed the absence of two albums from this list, neither of which have the song that is in my number one spot, okay? I believe my reaction videos to these two albums show well enough why is it that they are not here, and I regret to inform you that my opinion throughout the years since I first listened to them hasn't changed at all, okay? It is not, however, like these two albums are entirely devoid of quality, so I'm here to make them some justice by mentioning my favorite songs from each of them. So we have A No No, which is my favorite song of Caution. It was my favorite song of Caution when I heard it, and it still is. And You Don't Know What to Do, which is my favorite song from Me, I Am Mariah, The Elusive Chanteuse. I believe it was Donatella Versace who said that this song is pure art, and I agree with her. I think this is definitely not only a standout in the album, but it's definitely worth mentioning in this list. Even though it's not among my 30 favorite songs of Mariah Carey of all time, it's still a very, very good song, and I am pretty sure most of you out there would agree with me on that. So roll the drums, please. Because my favorite Mariah Carey song of all time, my number one, is Fly Like a Bird from The Emancipation of Mimi. You knew this was it, right? You don't need to lie. I know that from the top you guys probably already knew this was coming. I am very transparent. I am crystal, basically. And you also know, as much as I love a grower, that I am the kind of guy who loves first impressions most. And with nearly 8,000 people as my witness, the most watched video from this channel as of my recording this, my first impression of this song was powerful, for lack of a better word. Every single aspect of her vocal prowess, the very gift God granted her, is explored here. The highs, the lows, the whisper singing, the belts, the whistles, by God, the whistles, and that performance at the Grammys. Goosebumps. Goosebumps all over every single time I watch her reach the climax. I am not ranking performances in this video, but that is also easily number one. If I ever make a list, if you guys ever want me to make a list of my favorite Mariah Carey performances of all time, you already know what's number one, okay? And the final chorus slash outro slash whatever masterpiece that is, marvelous. I was in awe when I first heard it. I am still in awe when I hear it, and I think I will be in awe of it every single time I hear it for the rest of my life. I think I would pass out if I heard it being sung live in front of me. 2 songs ago, I mentioned I loved it when Mariah Carey went gospel, and Fly Like a Bird is the Mariah Carey gospel song, easily, because she goes into it heavily. She goes all in. We have an organ, a choir, harmonies, an actual pastor, and lyrics about feeling a divine power and resorting to prayer for dealing with all the bad things that happen in the world, and just a sense of trying to find a place outside of our reality where things are better. This idyllic idea of a place outside of earthly existence into a realm of ideals, a realm that is basically a dream. Mariah also has a dream, and I think the main reason why the song resonates so well with me is that even though I don't consider myself a particularly religious person, I also have dreams, and the inner will of being in a better place, of running away from all the terrible things that happen in the world every time we turn on the news. The only difference between us is the places we escape to. So yeah, these were my 15 favorite Mariah Carey songs of all time. As I said in the beginning of the video, if you guys are interested in me making this for other artists, artists that I covered in this channel, or artists, you know, that I didn't cover in this channel, but you know, I listened throughout my entire life, basically, like Gaga, Madonna, Ariana, Britney, you name an artist, and I'll make a list about this because I love rankings. I have a lot of fun making these, and once again, I really want to thank everybody who's been here for the Mariah Carey reactions. We don't have those as much as I wish we would. There are so many complicated issues with copyright. I have in my computer ever since 2023 or 2022 my reactions to Tokyo Dome concert and to that concert she did on Madison Square Garden while promoting Music Box. I haven't been able to post them yet, so I really wish I could do more Mariah Carey than is possible for us YouTubers to have to deal with copyright. But whatever I can find, whatever I can manage to sneak into the channel, I do, and I always will do, because I really grew to love Mariah from this channel, and I also love the space we managed to create in this channel for Mariah Carey. It's something that I really cherish, I really treasure, and it's definitely something that made my life better. So yeah, that was it for today, you guys. Thank you very much for watching, thank you very much for listening. If you've got any other requests, please tell me. I'll be more than free to react to them, as I always am. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.